rain and more rain.
Rain. It doesn't stop. It hasn't stopped. There's been no more than probably 3 hours that it hasn't just continuously dumped.
There is some hope on the horizon, though, including potentially tomorrow afternoon that there will be a respite. A little bit later on in the program, we'll hear from Amanda Orkoski, head softball coach with the Washington Patriots, still trying to find a way to finish their best-of-3 regional series against Hedgesville. They tried earlier today, didn't happen. They're going to try again tomorrow. More on that coming up. Meanwhile, up at West Lawn, Pennsylvania, they managed to work around the raindrops, and they did get all 3 games in yesterday at the NCAA Division II Atlantic Region Tournament.
And 3 shutouts.
Yeah, that's what was amazing.
The scores, and it was 3 shutouts.
So I don't know what time the last game ended. I didn't go to see a box score if there was a listing of what the first pitch was and when the last out maybe was recorded as far as length of game. I'll do that during one of our breaks just to bring that up. But they did get all 3 games in yesterday. And as you heard right here as we were getting on the air, Shepherd suffered a 4-0 setback against Seton Hill, and that put Shepherd into a must-win situation today. And we actually caught a little bit of the online video broadcast of that one as Millersville upended Shepherd in 11 innings, 5-4 the final.
And we tuned in when it was 4-2. Shepherd had a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the 9th inning, which we hadn't realized that they had just gotten that lead in the top of the inning, scored 3 runs in the top of that 9th inning to take that lead. And we're thinking, okay, Shepherd's going to win this game. All they need is 3 outs, and Millersville ended up getting 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Got a runner to third. Was that the bases loaded inning in the 10th?
Actually, the bases loaded was the 9th.
They got a runner to third in the 10th.
Yes.
And then a runner to third in the 11th. And we're going, all right, there's only so many times you can flirt with this. And Millersville took advantage.
And as always happens, right? There was a very questionable 2-ball, 2-strike pitch that Shepherd thought was a strike on the inside corner. And from our vantage point, we thought the same thing.
There was 2 pitches in that at-bat. That
Absolutely.
One maybe, from the angle, it was a lot like how we set up for our high school games. Mm-hmm. Our vantage point is it was kind of off the left side of the plate from behind the backstop, so you couldn't really tell left, right for the most part. And there was one pitch, I think it was the second ball of the inning, and it was very close to being right on the outside edge of that corner for strike 2, and then one that from our angle, it looked right down the middle. And we were listening to what I think was the Millersville broadcast team, because if it was supposed to be neutral, they were doing a very poor job.
Yeah, Billy Smith and Homer Jones with the play-by-play.
But it was even they, who again were very pro Millersville on the ball. Was that ball 3?
That was ball 3.
Ball
That's
3-2. They kind of paused and went, wow, wonder where that one missed, because it did not look like it could have been any more down the middle.
And so what happens next? The 3-2 pitch, a left-hand batter goes inside-out swing between the third base bag and the diving third baseman, and that proves to be the walk-off hit, and Shepherd's going, doggone it. That should have been a strikeout, and they should have been playing. Although if you're Shepherd, you got to look at that bottom half of the 9th inning. The bases were loaded with nobody out. A double play ground ball scored a run to make it 4-3. You had a chance to get out of it, and a guy doubles deep into right field to bring home the game-tying run. They got out of that jam stranding a runner in scoring position, but ultimately went pretty much 3 up, 3 down in the 10th and the 11th.
And it's kind of ironic. The season started with us talking about, I wonder how Shepherd's pitching staff's going to do. And then throughout the season, it was, wow, their pitching staff's doing really well. And then the last thing we're going to talk about was Shepherd baseball. We'll talk to Matt McCarty at some point next week. But the last game coverage we're talking about with Shepherd baseball is how the pitchers couldn't seem to get the outs when they need it.
But at the same time, the offense really never got going in this tournament. No. Just 2 hits
or the Mountain East tournament for all that. I mean, the end of the Mountain. Yeah.
Because they scored 24 runs on Sunday,
but it wasn't
that
consistent.
Championship. But then only scored 7 in a 10-7 loss against Charleston, who, by the way, got a win yesterday at that region tournament. So while Shepherd is out, Charleston still representing the Mountain East Conference at that Atlantic region tournament. Shepherd ending their season today, 38 wins, 17 losses. Certainly nothing to, hang your head about. And again, we'll talk with Matt McCarty next week.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate. The walk-off hit went right underneath the glove of a diving senior third baseman, Chase Hoffman. He's played all 4 years at Shepherd, really been a big part of the Shepherd Rams baseball team. It's just unfortunate that his last memory of playing college baseball is going to be a walk-off hit in the regional playoff game that went right under his glove. But well, that's how sports are.
That's it. And we go back to the Shepherd women's softball team, a pair of 1-0 losses against Lock Haven in that region tournament as well. So again, some very good showing for spring sports for Shepherd, falling just a little short of getting where they wanted to be. Let's stay with baseball and let's go to the minor leagues first. The Hagerstown Suns postponed yesterday.
I found that hard to believe that it could have been from weather. Well, I'm guessing you're going to tell me it was from weather. But
and they're postponed again today.
I can't believe it. I can't believe they can't get that field ready.
Scheduled to play at Delmarva. So they're actually down at Arthur W. Purdue Stadium.
Funny you should say that. I got a text from my aunt who lives right outside of the Salisbury Ocean City area. Right. And she just sent me a picture. She's a teacher. And it was my cousin who's a senior's last day at school today. And all the seniors took a picture, and they're about shin to kneecap deep in water on the playground at the school. That's a college prep school. It's K through 12. So they're standing on the playground, and they're in 3 feet of standing water down there. So you think it's bad up. It's all along the East Coast.
Yeah. So that is the 6th rain out for the Hagerstown Suns. The first 2 games at Delmarva now washed out due to rain. They had already scheduled a doubleheader for Sunday beginning at 12:35. I'm assuming they'll try to make tomorrow a doubleheader, but again, who knows whether that's going to happen.
It's a lot of baseball in a short amount of time.
It certainly is. All right, to the big leagues, because they're rained out again in D.C. The Dodgers and the Nationals supposed to open a weekend series. So that means, let's see, Tuesday night, they get to the bottom of the 6th inning, tied at 3 against the New York Yankees, and the game gets suspended. They come back on Wednesday, try to play at 5:05 to resume the suspended game and then play the regular game against the Yankees. Finally determined that's not going to happen. They canceled that. Then yesterday was a scheduled day off. The Dodgers actually played last night, scored a 7-0 win, and now they come into D.C. where tonight, another day off. The Nationals are either going to be well rested or very frustrated because they'd won 13 of 15 coming in.
I'm probably leaning more towards rested. I think at the major league level, you play enough games that you probably don't get frustrated with a few days off. I get you want to play and keep the consistency up, but I'm thinking at that major league level, you probably enjoy a couple days off more. Although the last 2 days with these, or the 2 of the last 3 days with these games being postponed, it's come very close to when pregame festivities were going to start. And so they're probably already at the ballpark getting ready and everything. So maybe there's a little bit of frustration, but you play 162 games. They're probably not going to like it playing double headers in the middle of summer, but I don't think they mind a few days off.
Well, but they may not have to play doubleheaders in the middle of summer because the Yankees situation got moved to June the 18th, and we understand that the game tonight will actually be made up tomorrow as part of a day-night doubleheader in D.C. So we're efforting after the show to work with the network to make sure that we might be able to bring you game 1 tomorrow, which is about a 2:05 first pitch. That would be a 1:30 airtime, and then lead into what would be the Capitals game tomorrow night. I don't want to get you started there. We'll do that after we take a break, but we'll talk about a rough one last night for the Capitals. Let's stay in baseball quickly. Baltimore fell at Boston yesterday, 6-2 the final, but Manny Machado had a big home run.
Yeah.
That was it, yep.
Yeah, that was it.
Because that was the 9th inning homer.
Yeah,
they really never mustered up any resistance to the Red Sox, who, by the way, are now 30-14. Baltimore has reached the 30-loss plateau now, 13-30.
Well, the question was answered. We were wondering whether they'd get to 10 wins or 30 losses first. They got to the 10 wins, but last night after the game, Buck Showalter still not overly pleased with what he saw from his club.
We had a shot there at 2-0. We just, it gets magnified. We said a lot this year and we just didn't score any runs, and we didn't do a whole lot of anything until we pushed those 2 across at the end. That's a real tribute to a good pitcher, but I think the most disappointing thing is, we gave him like 8 base runners they didn't earn between the 4 walks and the 3 early breaks. Our awareness wasn't good again, and we had another play we should have made. So 8 base runners to a good team that they don't earn will bite you.
Baltimore had, for about a week and a half, turned a little bit of a corner after that extremely slow start, able to go from about 7 wins up to the 13 wins. But now the last couple of games have labored just a little bit. We'll see if they can get it right tonight as they're scheduled to play at Boston at 7. Philadelphia, a win at St. Louis yesterday, 6-2. Those two teams go at it again tonight. And Pittsburgh with a 5-4 win over the San Diego Padres. And again, those teams playing at PNC tonight, of course, weather permitting. Not sure. I haven't checked radar to see how far to the north and west any of the rain is.
It's probably raining. I'm taking a guess. It's probably raining.
And we, while watching a little of the Caps game last night, saw where ESPN was trying to broadcast the Atlanta and Cubs game.
Yep.
It poured in Atlanta. Absolutely poured. So the Cubs were off yesterday. Hey, we got to get in a break. We'll come back and take a look at that tough Capitals loss yesterday. Next on Miller Time.
Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer deaths in the United States each year. But do you know the radon levels in your home? Home is a place to live, love, and laugh, not a place to breathe air containing radon. The Berkeley and Morgan County Health Departments are distributing free confidential radon test kits, and you can get yours at the Berkeley County Health Department office in Martinsburg and the Morgan County Health Department office in Berkeley Springs. Protect your home and family. Get your free radon test kit today.
It's spring, and that means golf. Hi, I'm Ron Springer, head golf professional at The Woods. Due to its overwhelming success, I'm happy to announce the second annual Tournament of Champions. If you've ever considered a golf tournament to raise funds for your organization, now's the time to get on board. Golf tournaments are fun, exciting, and profitable. The Tournament of Champions adds to all that and more. For additional information, please call me at 304-754-7222 or visit our website at thewoods.com.
I'm John Schriffen with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott says he's not worried about getting a contract extension. His only focus, taking care of business on the field. Cleveland's top pick quarterback Baker Mayfield will be the headliner of this season's Hard Knocks. The NFL film series will be with the Browns during training camp. Watch how it all unfolds starting August the 7th. 49ers linebacker Reuben Foster is facing felony charges of domestic violence. But in the courtroom Thursday, during the preliminary hearing, his accuser recanted her story, saying she lied a lot to authorities after Foster broke up with her. The judge is expected to decide next week if this case will go to a jury trial. The Super Bowl champion Eagles will go to the White House. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo received a message from an Eagles spokesman saying, quote, "We are in the process of working through the logistics of a trip to Washington, D.C., including a visit to the White House on June the 5th. It's been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free.
Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com. Interesting choice of music as we come back. Matt Crawford in the hot seats, pulling the strings on the music selections. I'm Matt Miller. And the only reason I bring it up
I was
is
going to say, where are you going with this?
well, yesterday you had on the bright red Caps jersey, and our own Rob Mario tuning in on our YouTube live WRNR TV channel suggested that you needed to change it because you look like a big red Christmas bulb. And so what did you do to change it? You put on a red Maryland Terrapin football full sleeve kind of t-shirt / sweatshirt. I'm not sure of the thickness of that.
It's a long sleeve shirt.
So it's a long sleeve
cotton long sleeve shirt.
All right. See, I don't wear long sleeves.
See, I think
so.
You don't wear pants. You don't wear long sleeves.
I wear pants. They're just shorts.
Well, that's what I meant. But no, I mean, you don't wear long sleeve shirts. You wear jackets and hoodies.
They're looking at the camera going, what's he got
There's
on
a reason
he's
sitting so close to the table. But you don't wear long sleeve shirts?
Nah, I don't like long sleeves.
You wear jackets?
If I have to.
You really just are very warm-blooded, aren't you?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, again, he doesn't wear anything but shorts. Even when it's snowing, he has insulated shorts.
Mm-hmm.
He has dress shorts for good occasions.
Good occasions.
One of the funniest pictures I've ever seen is you getting inducted into the Martinsburg Hall of Fame in your orange blazer and black dress shorts.
Black dress shorts. That was it.
It's a good look.
Rob Mario always says I look like the lead singer for AC/DC. You know, because you're wearing. You know, he always had the tie, but always had the shorts. Shorts. So
now, can you do the duck walk like that?
No, I don't. I don't think so. Maybe if I tried, put a little practice to it. All right, let's go to last night. We got a chance to.
Do we have to
hang out together and watch at least period number 1, and that was enough to make you go, ugh. But listening to period number 2 with John Walton, he seemed to say, "Hey, Caps are dominating in period number 2, but could still only get 1 goal to tie it up at 2. And then in that third, it came apart. They give up the goal, fall behind 3-2, and then at the end, just trying to make something happen, give up an empty netter, and the Tampa Bay Lightning even up the series 2 games apiece with a 4-2 win.
I thought I agree with John Walton. I think the Capitals did dominate period 2. I still think they've lost the energy that I saw in games 1 and 2. I mean, I think they dominated most of the game. I think they had some dumb plays, especially Lars Eller, who's committed 5 penalties in the last 2 games, including 2 last night. I don't know where that comes from as a professional athlete. 5 penalties in 2 games. Like, play by the rules, dude. Don't stick the stick out and trip somebody. Don't do something stupid, which Lars Eller's done.
To be the game-winning goal came right at the end of one of those penalties.
Yeah, it was a penalty. It wasn't on a power play where the Capitals were off the penalty kill at that point, but hadn't cleared the zone yet. So, it was, great stick handling by Tampa Bay to get that goal. Went right in Holtby's 5-hole, which is between the pads for those hockey people that don't know. It's between the 2 leg pads. But it was just a case where the Capitals the Capitals tied it at 2, and at that point in the second period, you're going, okay, this may be moving in the right direction. And it was just one of those cases where they had a really good second period, but not a full game that I could look at the entire game and go, yeah, they probably should have won that game. They put themselves in a position to win that game, but didn't have the same type of results that I saw in games 1 and 2.
They should have won in period number 1. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go to the good part first. And that's highlights of goals. Dmitry Orlov getting it started in the first.
A good start here as a puck out of the right side. Oshie, right point to Niskanen. Cross ice to Orlov. He thinks around point. Moves into the slot. Turns. Fires. And a shot in front for Oshie. He had Vasilevsky down. Couldn't get it through him. Now a shot. They score! The rebound to Orlov in the left circle. Dmitry goes boom! 15:32 to go in the first. It's 1-0 Washington.
Bang zoom.
Did we almost get boom goes the dynamite there? Wow. Yeah, and we saw that goal. And
he did go boom.
Oh,
I agree. That was a rocket.
And with that 1-0 lead, then very shortly after, within barely more than a minute, an absolutely ridiculous turnover leads to the game-tying goal. And then the Caps end up committing a penalty. Tampa goes on the power play, takes the 2-1 lead, but the Caps had 3 power play opportunities, literally back to back to back.
The last 10 minutes of the first period, I think 6 of the 10 minutes the Caps were on the man advantage.
and tell me how many good shots they got.
2, maybe, out of those 3 in the 6 minutes, probably got 2.
That to me is where they
shots.
lost.
Yeah.
They had every opportunity to have a lead coming out of period number 1. If they don't give up a stupid turnover that leads to an easy
Kempney
goal.
had an awful night last night too.
And then if you put 1 or 2 in the net when you had those opportunities, they couldn't take advantage.
Well, and you don't score on the power play, okay. It's not the end of the world. You'd like to see some power play goals put in based on the productiveness that the Capitals have had throughout the playoffs on the power play. But then the penalty kill has got to be better if you're not going to score on the. I mean, right now Tampa Bay is 6 for 14, so just a hair under 50% on the power play. That's not going to win you a whole lot of games.
No,
when your season average is anywhere from the 20s to the 30s.
All right, we are running short on time, headed to the bottom of the hour. We'll skip the Kuznetsov game-tying goal in the second.
Because it didn't matter.
At
the end of the day, it didn't matter.
So, but who do you want to hear from in the postgame?
I'll leave it up to you. We got the coach, we got Kuzi, or we got Ovechkin.
Well, let's hear from Kuzi first, who did have that big goal to tie the game.
I mean, if you look at the overall, and before Sirius said it's going to be 2-2 after 4 games, both teams going to be happy. But, we have to win 1 home game for sure, but we didn't. It's fine. We have to keep moving forward and stay positive.
And that's the one thing. We have to win 1 home game. You should win 1 home. You should win more than 1 home game. The fact that everybody's talking about, we'd like to get 1 at home. Yeah. You're supposed to get wins at home.
But right now, the road team has won each of these first 4. So maybe that bodes well for the Capitals to come back out with that us against the world mentality and then go after it hard.
They should have had that in game 4. They should have had that in game 3.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from the head coach. What's Barry Trotz's thoughts?
We had some lucks. There was a lot of commitment. A couple of missed opportunities. So we had a couple of chances there, and they didn't end up in the back of the net. So we'll battle through it. This group's been resilient as hell all year, and I don't expect anything. Nothing's come easy for this team. Everybody knows that. So this team's just used to that. Like I said, we're gonna go to Tampa. I expect us to respond the way we have all year.
We will see. Game time tomorrow night, a little earlier. I don't really understand why. They've been at 8 o'clock through the course of the week, but on Saturday night, it'll be a 7:15 puck drop, we understand. So coverage should begin right around 7 o'clock with John Walton and the gang right here on Talk Radio WRNR. This is a must-win now for the Capitals because they're 3-5 at home now, 2 games under 500 at home in this playoffs. They can't afford, I don't think, to lose this one, have dropped 3 in a row, and then come back home needing a win.
Yeah, I think the winner of Game 5 will probably end up winning the series. If I was a betting man, that's what I put my money on. Is that the winner of Game 5 is probably going to end up winning the series.
Well, one thing broke yesterday, and that is through the first, 3 games, whoever scored first ultimately ended up with more than a 1-goal lead and went on to win.
Not so much anymore.
No, not yesterday. All right, tune in for Caps hockey again tomorrow on Talk Radio WRNR. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
CBS News special reports. 9 high school students and a teacher were killed this morning by a gunman who went on a shooting rampage at Santa Fe High School in Texas. 17-year-old Dimitrios Pagorchis has been charged with murder. CBS's Omar Villafranca is there.
The suspect had made statements about the shooting on his phone and in a journal about wanting to commit the shooting and then commit suicide.
10 other people wounded. Senior Daisy Sullivan will never forget what she saw.
I'm just really hoping it's over. It didn't happen. I just keep thinking that it's a dream, and then I'm going to wake up any minute now and it's going to be over.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott urges unity to solve the tragic problem of gun violence in schools.
We want to hear from parents. We want to hear from students. We want to hear from educators. We want to hear from concerned citizens. We want to hear from those who hold the Second Amendment right in high esteem. We want to hear from everybody.
At least one person is being questioned in the shooting, as well as the suspect. CBS News Special Report, I'm Gary Nunn.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Evening rainfall may include a couple of heavier thunder showers, but the trend will be for the rain to taper off some through the late night, early morning. We'll see lows back to about 55 degrees. We'll still see a few showers around tomorrow, a couple of thunder showers in the afternoon. Forecast high near 73. We do dry out finally on Sunday with partly sunny skies and a high of 85. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
You think back to when your daughter was the tiniest, sweetest, softest, prettiest, most precious little person in your life. She cried and your heart raced. She smiled and you laughed. She said, "Mama," and you cried. Hi, this is Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. I know she spent a lot of time in your arms, by your side, in your lap. The years have flown, and she outgrew your lap, but she never outgrew your heart. Your girl is graduating now, and a gift she will wear and treasure forever is a heart pendant. Each time she looks at it, she'll know she's always in your heart. Wherever she goes, you'll be together. At Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South in Inwood, our heart pendants start at just $99 in sterling silver. You'll find them in gold, too. Some have gems, some are sprinkled with diamonds that twinkle like she does. You'll find one that fits her, sort of like the way she used to fit in your lap. At Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South in Inwood.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
It's a hockey type of night on NBC Sports Radio. You can hear all the action live. Jets and Golden Knights in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Odell Beckham Jr., some good news out of New York. All reports are that he plans on reporting to the voluntary OTAs next week. Jamar Taylor, no longer a Brown. He's been traded over to the Arizona Cardinals. The cornerback was. Braves infielder Dansby Swanson expected to be activated from the DL on Saturday. Starling Marte from the Pirates added to the DL. Austin Meadows going to get called up. And Paul DeJong, a fractured left hand. He's on the 10-day DL and maybe a little bit longer than that. In total, there will be 15 Major League Baseball games to be played tonight. We'll check that 14 as we already have one game postponed, Dodgers and the Nationals. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
Fire up the barbecues and the deals at the Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Memorial Day sales event. You'll get great savings up to $12,000 off a 2018 Ram 1500. Save up to $6,000 off a 2018 Cherokee. You can drive away in an all-new 2018 Journey SE for just $234 a month. How about a 2018 Jeep Compass Sport for $252 a month? Or a 2018 Dodge Durango only $389 a month. This weekend at the Memorial Day sales event, you can get a gas card for every test drive Friday through Monday, and stop in Saturday from 12 to 2 for a cookout. And while you're there, check out the no money down specials at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty on Kelly Island Road, or online at millerschryslerjeep.com. Stock number 18240, stock number 18017. All payments based on approved credit, taxes, tags, and processing fees extra. See dealer for details. We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Friday evening. We'll go till 6 o'clock this evening. Then it's NBC Sports Radio. Initially, we had planned to go to 6:30 when we would have joined the Washington Nationals pregame. However, the Nationals rained out tonight against the Dodgers. They'll play a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. All right. Along with Matt Crawford, I'm Matt Miller, if I didn't say that already. And it's time for our brand new segment that we started this week.
Our look at yesterday in sports history. Going to the great website, by the way, onthisday.com. It has entertainment, it has sports, it has politics. It's a really cool website. Birthdays, deaths, events. So we'll just stick with events for now. But in 1875, the first Kentucky Derby took place on yesterday in sports history.
Nice.
Again, that's the 17th was yesterday. So May 17th was the first Kentucky Derby. Moving down the list, 1927, the Chicago Cubs beat the Boston Braves 4-3. Cool. Oh, it was in 22 innings.
22
inning game back then. So imagine trying to get that in before the lights went out.
By the way,
there was no lights, so just trying to get that in.
When did the Triple Crown begin? If the Kentucky Derby started way back then, was the Preakness and the Belmont shortly after? We'll have to do some research.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It says the 19th Preakness was in 1894. So, yeah, they started the same year.
Close. Yeah, okay.
So moving on down the list, going to 1970, Hank Aaron becomes the ninth player to get 3,000 hits in Major League history. Oh, hold on. I know I skipped a good one. We got to travel back in time real quick. There we go. 1939, the first televised baseball broadcast on NBC. Princeton defeating Columbia 2-1 in college baseball. That was also the first telecast of any sporting event on TV.
That's a good game, 2-1. I like that.
Yeah, 2-1. It's a good game. Moving down the list, even further, we're getting into modern day stuff now. Look at the 1979 Phillies-Cubs match. If I promise I'm not just picking Cubs stuff out. Phillies-Cubs matchup in 1979. Final score of that one, 23-22 on 50 hits and 11 home runs for between the two teams.
Wow.
23-22. And again,
Wow.
50 hits, 11 home runs. Not a bad game.
All right, I'm going to look that one up on Baseball Almanac, one of my favorite websites, just to see what the length of that game was.
I have no idea. Usually on that website, they put in X amount of innings or whatever. That'd be really impressive if that was a 9-inning game.
I was going to say, that is a long, long baseball game to have 50 hits in all those runs.
But that is your look at yesterday in sports history.
All right, we're going softball, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the regionals in softball, as 3 regional champions have already been crowned during the course of this week. Southern part of the state, they were really able to work around the weather a lot better than us. Didn't have as much rain, and so George Washington and Hurricane easily able to claim their Region 3 and Region 4 championships. Meanwhile, Region 1, John Marshall claims that championship as they defeated University. And now that leads us to Region 2, where Wednesday of this week, in the midst of some raindrops, they managed to get in a game with Hedgesville beating Washington by an 8-3 final. That could stand as the de facto championship game if these teams can't get together again. We got word that they were going to try earlier today and thought, really? And it didn't ultimately end up happening. By the time they got to the field, there had been a bit of a shower right before that really made conditions wet. And while they were there, more rain began to fall. And they ultimately had to say, we'll push it off until tomorrow. So after we knew that game was canceled, we got a chance to catch up with Amanda Orkowski, head coach of Washington. And this was her reaction.
It's been very frustrating, going from trying to start on Monday, getting rained out that day, to Tuesday. It was beautiful out, but we couldn't get a field. And by the time we were able to secure a field, we couldn't get transportation for both teams. Wednesday, we didn't play our best. It's been a heck of a week, but really that's the story of the season.
How's the morale of your team right now? I know it's sometimes hard to keep high schoolers level-headed, but through all this, it's got to be hard to keep them concentrated.
I think they did really well last night at practice. Coming off of our loss the other day. The good thing about a loss is you know exactly what you need to work on. So they worked hard in practice, of course, in the gym because we couldn't get outside. But I'm proud of them for being able to refocus and get our mental game a little bit better.
Looking at the scoring in that game against Hedgesville, kind of a bookend, if you will, as they scored 4 in that first and then 4 in that last at bat. Tell us how the game kind of played out.
Yeah, we kind of started out flat. We weren't communicating. We weren't playing together. And we were able to find our groove there a little bit in the middle. And then, unfortunately, we just weren't able to finish it out. We had a couple opportunities, and one thing happened here and something else happened there. We just weren't able to fully play our game.
So what does the schedule look like now the rest of the week?
Well, we were trying to get today in. We actually both showed up at the field. We had a little downpour right before we showed up. It was beautiful all morning. Field looks great. Jefferson, we appreciate Jefferson High School working with us to let us use our field. Their field drains great, and that downpour just got us, so we had a bunch of water standing there. Obviously, like we talked about last time, I don't want anybody to get hurt. So we mutually agreed to restart tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
So Saturday at 3, if you can get the win in that game, the series would be even at 1. Would you come right back out and play a doubleheader?
Yes, sir. Everything has to be done by tomorrow, end of day.
So with that in mind, with more rain in our forecast, what happens if you can't play tomorrow?
Unfortunately for us, We put Hedgesville in the driver's seat for that one because if we can't get our games in tomorrow, it goes down to single elimination. If it would come down to we get one game in and we tie up the series and we couldn't get a third one in, then it does go back to the coin toss. But right now, with the forecast tomorrow, it's supposed to stop, I believe, at 1 o'clock. Hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate with us at least for one day to get 2 games, hopefully 2 games for us in. That's our hope.
What is it about this field at Jefferson that with all the rain that we've had that it seems to be one that you can get playable?
I wish I knew so that I could tell my school that we would like the same thing. I know their mix of dirt is definitely different than ours. I wish I could find the answers to that one because their field is it's great with draining. I can't believe it's been ready either, and they don't even have a tarp on it. So it's literally just taking all the rain in.
That's incredible. With even the game that you got to play the other day, I'm sure it's not ideal conditions. How tough is it, even if it's just a little bit muddy or sticky?
Well, and the amazing part is even if it's soaking all of that water in, nobody's sliding around in the dirt. You still get good footing. So, of course, it's not ideal conditions. You got to wipe the ball off every time you get it in, stuff like that. But both teams have those same conditions, so there's really no excuses for it. So.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time, and we just wish you all the best with all the efforts to try to get the game and possibly 2 games in tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
There you hear from Amanda Orkoski, head coach of the Washington Patriots softball team, as they look to play Hedgesville at Jefferson tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Again, a Washington win, and the 2 teams would take a brief break and then come right back out to play game 2 of a doubleheader for the regional championship. A Hedgesville win, and they would claim that championship and move on to next week's state tournament.
And again, it would just really suck to have to be sent to the state tournament. Or really, it would suck to have to be sent home and not have a chance to play for a spot in the state tournament based on a coin flip.
Yeah, that one's...
They got to figure out a different way to do like they did in the regular season, do runs allowed in the playoffs, or at least something statistical that you can go, okay, well, maybe they were the better team throughout the playoffs. But a coin flip just seems there seems like there could be a better way around that.
All right, you're the one who has to make the call. You calling heads or tails?
I've always been a heads guy.
Okay.
I know a lot of people go with the tails never fails thing, but I've always been a heads guy.
All right.
In all the major coin flips I've done in my life.
I don't have a coin on me in my pocket right now, or I would pull one out just to see if you would win. Oh, wait a minute. Matt is digging deep. I think he's got a coin. Oh, he's got it. It's a quarter. All right, there it is. There's heads, there's tails. I'm flipping in the air right now. You've called it already. Heads. Correct? There it is. I slam it down. Tails. I'm going to the state tournament, baby. Woo! By the way, the baseball regional finals scheduled for next week, we've talked about it already, has been postponed with all the rain that has been here this week and really even moving into the weekend. Martinsburg at Washington for the baseball regional final game 1 has been moved from Monday to Wednesday at 4:30, our pregame at 4:10. Washington will then be at Martinsburg on Thursday of next week. That's a 7 o'clock first pitch, our pregame 6:40. And then if needed, next Friday, it'll be Martinsburg back at Washington at 4:30 with a 4:10 pregame. So again, that is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th coming up next week. We got to get in another break, including our Mountaineer Report, and then we're back with more Miller Time.
Just take those old records off the shelf.
The WVU Medicine Spring Mills office building is now open. This new 3-story, 40,000 square foot facility is conveniently located off Interstate 81, exit 20 at the intersection of US 11 and Campus Drive. The WVU Medicine Spring Mills medical office building features many different offices and services for area residents. It's now home to urgent care, women's imaging center, lab services, and primary care pediatrics. The WVU Medicine Spring Mills office building now open to serve you.
Today's Mountaineer Report is brought to you by McFly Outdoors, West Virginia's outdoor headquarters.
The Mountaineers with their backs against the wall. They need a 3-game series sweep against Baylor. Well, how would game 1 go? Randy Mazey trying something a little drastic with his pitching. And did it pay off? Dan Zangerla here at Mon County Ballpark. I'll tell you all of the details about a West Virginia winner over the Baylor Bears, one of the hottest teams in college baseball, after these words from McFly Outdoors on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
McFly Outdoors is West Virginia's outdoor headquarters. We have it all for every West Virginia outdoor enthusiast. McFly Outdoors is an official dealer of Sims, Patagonia, The North Face, Yeti, Hoyt, Matthews, Kimber, Glock, Smith & Wesson, and hundreds more. McFly Outdoors Horner features our Archery Pro Shop, indoor firearm and archery ranges, and stocks over 1,000 firearms. McFly Outdoors Bridgeport features our fly shop, large apparel and footwear section, and a huge selection of firearms. At McFly Outdoors, our staff will provide customer service that big box stores can't provide. Shop local this fall and visit our 2 locations in Bridgeport and Horner, West Virginia, or shop online at McFlyOutdoors.com. Use code WVU at McFlyOutdoors.com and save 10% on your first online purchase. Let's go Mountaineers! Go to McFlyOutdoors.com, use code WVU and save 10%.
Randy Mazey decided that he was going to start senior right-hander B.J. Myers not once, but twice in a 3-game series against Baylor. He was going to go all Tony La Russa. You remember when the old Oakland A's skipper turned his starters into relievers and would use everybody for just a couple of innings? Well, over this 3-game series, that's exactly what the wily skipper of the Mountaineers decided to do. He gave the ball to B.J. Myers, and he only went 3 innings. And then the West Virginia bullpen would wind up throwing a bunch of zeros up over the course of the night. 2 from Alek Manoah, 1 from Tristan Hudson. Sam Kessler and Zach Reed, they split the 7th inning, 2/3 for Kessler, and the left-hander Reed got the final out before Braden Zarbniski went 2 scoreless and struck out 5 batters. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Mountaineers were facing one of the best left-handers in Baylor's Cody Bradford, who had thrown back-to-back complete games, 1-time National Pitcher of the Week, 3 times the Big 12 Pitcher of the Week. He went 7 innings, and if we were to tell you that this left-hander for Baylor went 7 innings, you would think that the Mountaineers may have not had things go their way, but West Virginia winning a 2-1 affair as they throw 70% strikes. 88 of 126 pitches in a clean, quick, efficient game was the antithesis of what occurred over a 3-game weekend series in Fort Worth against TCU. So the Mountaineers are poised to take a series this afternoon. And we do remind you, because of inclement weather in the forecast, West Virginia has moved the game time up from Friday at 6:30 to Friday at 3 o'clock. We'll have airtime at 2:45. We hope you could join us right here on the Mountaineers Sports Network from IMG.
We'll talk high school baseball next on Miller Time.
Heroin addiction, overdoses, kids' futures at risk and growing up to become drug abusers. It's a national problem. Prevention can solve it, but where do we start? The Martinsburg Initiative is our police-school community partnership and model solution to this national problem. It's based on the science of adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, the traumatic experiences during childhood resulting in serious problems when they grow up. ACEs are caused by abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction, and they really matter. A child with 6 adverse childhood experiences is almost 50 times more likely to become a heroin user as an adult. A positive adult role model spending a few hours a month with a child can make the difference. A child with a mentor is 46% less likely to begin using illegal drugs. 46%. Mentors change lives. We need mentors. Change a life. Be a mentor. Call Project Director Tiffany Hendershot today at 304-267-3510. 304-267-3510.
All right, Don Johnson.
I was going to ask, who's Crockett, who's Tufts here? Welcome back, Ann.
In your white Ferrari. And
I have a white jacket story from way back in the day that my wife is laughing at as she hears this, but I won't. We don't have time, which is good. We'll just continue to move on. Matt Miller along with Matt Crawford on Miller Time. We do want to hear from Aaron Byler, head baseball coach of the Martinsburg Bulldogs, as they are getting ready to face the Washington Patriots. And it has been a long time since they've been on the field.
Yeah, because Martinsburg's gotten another. I mean, they at least got another day or 2 days of practice in. Washington's been playing. Yeah. And then had the week off on the field, period, because of the rain.
Well, let's find out from Coach Byler what it's been like with all this time off and all this rain.
Yeah, it seemed to rain every day, which makes it hard to get outside. We weren't fortunate enough to get outside for a little bit on Monday, and then we were out all day Tuesday for practice, and we were inside yesterday, and then we gave the kids a day off. We were inside Wednesday, and we gave the kids a day off Thursday. We'll get back inside today, and then we're hopeful that maybe tomorrow night or maybe tomorrow afternoon and later in the week we'll be able to get back outside.
I know I talked to you after you beat Musselman, and you said you weren't a fan of having a week off. Was there any thought of possibly trying to get a game in this week?
Yeah, there was some thought, and there were Moorfield wanted to play us, and Mercersburg Academy wanted to play us. But, I told the coaching staff after that game, I said, we'll take the weekend off, and we'll get together on Monday, and we'll decide what we want to do. When we looked at the radar on Monday, it was almost kind of pointless to even try to schedule something.
When you look at the week, what is it in particular that you have tried to emphasize or work on to get back on the field ready to go come regional time?
Well, and I've told you this before, when you have a lengthy time off, which unfortunately we have had a couple of times this year, and it's the bats, the bats being slow. So we've just tried to make sure that we've got our swings consistently and making sure that they stay where we need them to be. And then the other thing was to making sure that we got our pitchers throwing their bullpens when they needed to, and with the dates being moved back, that kind of threw a little bit of a wrinkle into things because Noah Slack and Ashton Staubs threw their bullpens on Wednesday, which we thought would give them, the right rest that they needed and they've been working on all year. But unfortunately, with the change, we'll have to address that Monday, maybe have them throw a little bit more.
Being in the gym is never fun practicing, but especially this time of year as you're trying to prepare for a regional final, it's got to feel even worse.
It is, it's not ideal, and the kids are kind of complaining about it a little bit. And I said, listen, there's a lot of other teams in this state that would like to be where you're at right now, and that's practice in the gym in May. So we just have to embrace it and make sure we're getting something out of it each day.
When you look at your opponent, what is it that you see in this matchup? You split during the regular season. They got the win at Martinsburg. You guys got the win down there.
Yeah, they're quality, and any team that's still playing right now is going to be a good baseball team. And, their middle part of the order really hits the ball well, and they got some speed at the top, guys that will get on base and aren't afraid to try and take the extra base. So, we're going to have to do a good job, defensively, and our pitchers are going to have to throw strikes, and we're going to have to make the plays behind them. And then when you look at Wednesday, I fully expect them to throw the Kerr kid, and, he's left-handed and throws the ball pretty hard, and we're going to have to make sure that we're ready for him, or it could be a long night for us.
You guys have an excellent road record this year. Does it concern you at all or frustrate you in any way that you have to open this series and then potentially, if it goes 3, end it on the road?
We're kind of just embracing it right now. And I don't think it has really anything to do with whether we're playing at home or away. I just think kind of the latter part of our season happened to be on the road, and that's kind of seen when we were playing our best baseball. And then the way the seeding worked out with the section, we were obviously on the road for all 3 games there, and we were continuing to play well. So I think our road record is kind of because of that. We played those late games on the road, and that's happened to be when we're playing our best baseball. But we're going to embrace it. We're just happy to be here. We're going to try and make the most of it.
You mentioned earlier kind of having a long break during the course of the regular season. How does that experience help you during this long break?
Well, we never thought that it would, help us at all. But, I guess when you can kind of turn it into a positive and say, Washington has never had to have a week off. And, so we know what it takes to come back from that. So I don't know if it helps us or not. If it was up to me and if the weather worked out, I would have hoped that, this regional series would be over already. We already would have played it.
Yeah. How anxious are your guys to get out there and get this underway?
They're anxious, and they're getting more and more anxious every day, and they really didn't like the fact that we delayed it. But, when you look at the weather, it's supposed to rain all the way up until Saturday, and I was talking to Coach Hash, and he said there's, 6 inches of water on their field, so he didn't think he could even have it ready by Monday if it stopped raining. And then Tuesday, the kids have graduation. You don't want those 5 seniors to have to miss graduation. So it just kind of made sense for us to start Wednesday, and after talking with Coach Hash and Coach Walker, that's kind of what we decided to do.
Kind of a fun way for those seniors to wrap things up, right? You graduate on Tuesday, come out and play baseball on Wednesday.
It is, it's a cool thing for them, and I'm kind of glad that we don't have, the 14 seniors like Washington has, because those guys, you never know. I've said this before too, sometimes a good junior class is better than a good senior class because the seniors have so much to worry about, especially in a spring sport with graduation. And, they've been done with school for quite some time now. So you never know what you're going to get. I'm not worried about our guys. They've been nothing but great all year. They've embraced the opportunity. So, but it's definitely cool for them.
Well, Coach, enjoy a little more practice time, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Wednesday of next week.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys.
That is Aaron Byler, head coach of Martinsburg Baseball. They'll be at Washington next Wednesday, the 23rd. Game time 4:30, hour pregame 4:10, right here to open the baseball best-of-3 regional series. We got to get in a final break and then come back to wrap up today's Miller Time.
The Honda Memorial Day sales event has brilliant deals on our most popular vehicles, like the Civic, Fit, and Pilot. It's the perfect way to start summer across America, from the Liberty Bell to Hollywood, and even back up to Niagara Falls. So start your summer with the 2018 KBB.com Best Overall Brand during the Honda Memorial Day sales event, now at your Honda dealer.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 branded awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
Simply Free e-checking from City National Bank. Perfect if you want basic checking with no monthly service fees or balance requirements. Stop by any of our 7 Eastern Panhandle locations or visit us online at bankatcity.com. City National Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We welcome you back into this final segment of Miller Time, not only for this Friday, but for the week. Have a good weekend.
You do the same.
I'm looking forward to it.
You going to watch the royal wedding tomorrow?
I will not. I'm going to miss that. I'll probably miss the Preakness as well, but I know you'll see that.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. I'll keep you updated.
I appreciate it. We'll be talking with Eric Zimney next week after the race is done. Hopefully Justified gets it done. I love the thrill of the possibility of seeing that Triple Crown.
I think he's got a good shot. Again, only an 8-horse field, so that's going to be exciting regardless.
Hey, one quick note that we found out here near the end of this week. Actually knew this yesterday. Didn't get a chance to get into it. We talked about the way too early preseason top 25 college football poll that ESPN puts out, a couple weeks ago. USA Today does the same thing for their Super 25 high school football rankings. Guess who's at number 24?
Guessing since we're bringing it up, it's the Martinsburg Bulldogs.
Yeah, they finished 19th last year, but with a pretty good-looking core of returning players. USA Today has them at number 24 in the way too early preseason Super 25. Congratulations, Dogs.
Yeah, good for them. Got to go out and prove it now.
There it is. They've won 28 in a row heading into this season, which will get underway August 24th, hosting Loudoun Valley. Have a good weekend again, everyone. That's going to do it for today's Miller Time.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. According to a report from WDVM, the Berkeley County Council declared a state of emergency yesterday